Most people think recovery is about stopping drugs. Get clean, stay sober and things fall into place. But that isn't what seems to happen, because a lot of people stop using, still feel the same restlessness, same pressure, same need to escape. So they replace it with work, exercise, obsession, anything that fills the gap, which suggests the problem was never just the substance. It was what that substance was doing for them, the rhythm, the focus, the sense of being alive. And if recovery removes that without replacing it, what actually changes? Drugs and Addiction, an Anarchist Perspective. Dickie Dredd. And we're on part 54 in the video series, chapter 7, Integration and Liberation. Okay, section 56, Embodiment, Creativity and Work. Recovery begins in rhythm, but matures in movement. Once the mind returns from its peaks, see section 54, and reconnects with community, in the last section, it must find form again, in the body, in craft, in work. Addiction lives in abstraction, the endless loop of thought chasing sensation. Embodiment breaks that loop by giving the nervous system something real to do. For most of us, sobriety cannot mean stillness. The same intensity once spent on chasing highs must be re-anchored in practice. Gardening, carpentry, cooking, music, dance, whatever. Each converts craving into coordination. Marte writes that healing happens when attention meets action. Body becomes the site where understanding is tested. Where drugs once supplied rhythm, movement now provides it directly. Creative work performs the same function for the mind that exercise does for the body. It channels energy into form. The painter, the mechanic, the grower, and the DJ are all engaged in translation, turning inattention into outer shape. In this sense, work is not merely economic but spiritual. The tragedy of capitalist labour is that it strips meaning from this process, reducing creative energy into wages. True work, what Marx called species being, is the opposite activity that restores unity between body, mind and world. Addiction collapses that unity into consumption. Creativity restores it through production. Alexander describes recovery as a replacement of narrow bonds of consumption with broad bonds of contribution. Productive engagement, even unpaid, re-establishes belonging. Community workshops, gardens, sound systems, social kitchens all exemplify this shift. They transform labour from survival into solidarity. The hands that once shook with withdrawal lean against to plant, to build, to make rhythm visible. Turner would recognise this as post-liminal practice, the re-entry of the initiate into the ordinary life through performance. After the revelation comes repetition. The artist who turns trauma into song, the craftsman who shapes wood into meaning, both enact integration through ritualised creation. Winckelmann likewise shows that rhythmic and embodied practices stabilise altered states by engaging proprioception and communal synchrony. Movement, drumming and dance are not mere practice pastimes, but somatic anchors of consciousness. Bourdieu called this habitus, the set of embodied dispositions through which culture reproduces itself. Addiction rewrites that habitus in the language of craving. Recovery writes it in the language of craft. Now, I can't say this bloke's name. It's one of the most complicated names I've ever seen. Csikszentmihalyi. He writes some really good books, actually, but I can't say his name for hell. Later named the same experience flow, complete absorption in purposeful activity. In flow, craving dissolves not through suppression, but through fulfillment. Attention is rewarded by presence. Sennett argued that craftsmen, whatever the trade, achieves dignity precisely by caring about quality. The slow labour of repair becomes moral education. Work, in this sense, is ceremony extended. Every action becomes a form of remembrance of what has been learned, of who we have been. Addiction fragments time into the binary of high and low. Embodiment restores continuity. Regularity becomes a sacrament. Dawn routine, the shared meal, the weekly session. These repetitions cultivate what I call applied freedom. Autonomy exercised through doing, not merely deciding. There is, however, danger in misinterpreting work as cure. Productivity easily mutates into avoidance. It certainly did with me. Many recovering users turn their discipline into new compulsion. Exercise addiction, I had that. Overworking, I had that. See sections 15 and 51. Relentless activism, I had that. The line between embodiment and escape remains thin. As Marte warns, the psyche will substitute one ritual for another until the original pain is addressed. The solution lies not in doing more, but in doing consciously, returning attention to breath, to rhythm, to reason for the act. An anarchist understanding of work reframes the issue. In hierarchical systems, labour is extraction. In liberated systems, it is expression. Healing, therefore, depends not only on what one does, but under what conditions. A job that drains autonomy merely repeats dependency. A craft shared among equals rebuilds it. Collective enterprises, worker co-ops, repair cafes, free festivals are laboratories of such embodiment. They demonstrate that productivity need not serve profit to sustain dignity. Where the previous section described the community as a clinic, this section views it as a workshop. The clinic heals the wound, the workshop strengthens the scar. To move, to make, to mend. These are the gestures by which recovery becomes culture. Addiction isolates the self within sensation. Creativity returns to self in relationship. The dance, the meal, the construction of a shelter or a song, each says the same thing. I'm here, alive and capable of shaping meaning. In this section, in the section that follows, this principle expands outwards into ecology, the recognition that embodiment is not only human but planetary. Work becomes care, and care becomes freedom. So recovery isn't just about stopping something; it's about what replaces it. Because if the energy that drove addiction isn't given form through movement, craft, or creation, it doesn't disappear; it just mutates. Which means a system focused only on abstinence is incomplete. It removes the behaviour, but leaves the underlying drive untouched. So if stopping isn't enough, what actually completes recovery? And if we've been measuring success the wrong way, what else have we misunderstood about addiction? So coming up, Chapter 7, Integration and Liberation, is Section 57, Ecology of Balance.